Hey everyone, Nim here. Today I will be showing you how to make 3 wands of varying difficulty and with different materials, most of which you can find in your home. The first and simplest is using a regular stick that I collected from the outside a while ago. The catch is that you need to use a knife to clean up the sticks, so this specific craft is not for children. For this pattern, I'm using the serrated edge of the knife. If you are just cleaning off the bark, you can use the straight edge of the knife. Actually, this is all I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to leave the wand like this. But you can add as much decoration as you want, and as I will explain later, you can also use a regular stick in combination with the next crafts. The next type of wand is the one you see most commonly on YouTube and other platforms, which is decorating a chopstick. It's a good, quick option, especially if you want to make many, perhaps for decorations or as little gifts. I've made several of these before, and I will show you some of the different ways to decorate them. All these decoration tips can also be used on regular sticks, not just chopsticks. The first decoration tip is to use little bits and pieces that you find around the house, like pearls or beads, and later on I'll also be using string. Though you could skip this step and go right to the next one, which is just using a hot glue gun to build up patterns like spiral, bumps, or this more messy random pattern. I'm using the messy pattern at the top of the handle, and then also making a spiral just underneath, just to show you how it could look. Once the hot glue is dry, paint your wand. I'm using acrylic paint in dark woody colors, but as you saw in my collection of older wands, you can use whatever colors you wish, and the more bright, fun colors could transform this from a Harry Potter wand to a fairy wand if you would like. Once the first layer is dry, you can add details. I'm dry brushing most of the wand with a golden color, giving it a little more of a magical and mysterious touch. I'm also painting the pearls at the end gold. As I mentioned earlier, you can also use string to decorate the wand. I'm using some of this, I think it's cross-stitch yarn, wrapping it throughout the spiral and attaching both ends with a little bit of hot glue. And then just adding a second layer of gold to make it more visible. And there you have it, 2 simple wands ready. For the last and more complicated wand I'm doing today, you will need aluminum foil or a stick and clay. I'm using air dry clay. I'll be using the aluminum foil as the center to give the clay more support. As I said before, you can also just use a stick or some pieces of wire. Roll and shape the foil into the approximate length you want. Be extremely careful how thick you make it. Even though I was careful, I underestimated how thick the wand would end up after adding the clay, so I ended up with quite a hefty wand, which, if it wasn't made up of something as breakable as clay, you could probably just swing at someone. This is the main reason that next time I'll probably use either a chopstick or a stick I found from the outside. Specifically, I'm making Dumbledore's wand, or the Elder Wand, which is very long, 15 inches, which dwarves the chopsticks wand, which I believe were only around 9 inches long. I chose this wand specifically because it has a lot of details with the little holes that I would not have been able to make any other way. So after building up the clay and making the holes in it, I let it dry for 24 hours, and then I sanded it with extremely fine grit to get a smoother surface. Then, using a wet paper towel, I cleaned off the dust before painting it. Again, I just used the same acrylic paint as earlier. I did try to fill the rest of the cracks and unevenness with liquid glue, but it didn't really do much, so you can skip that step. I did 2 coats of paint, and then at the end used a pen to add the little runes and details. If your wand turns out as you hoped it would, you can also add a coat of protective spray to protect it from damage, which I did not do in this case, and it would also, unless you have a matte covering or matte spray, it'll make it shiny, which I did not want for my wand. that's it. As mentioned earlier, you can mix and match these processes. You can use sticks and clay together, decorate clay wands with hot glue, pearls and strings, and so on. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!